Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Game Junk Podcast, episode 121, recording on Sunday, September 25th, 2022. My name is Frank.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Andrew.
And we will be doing a fall or holiday season game preview. We're bringing it back. People have been asking, game or junk? We've got countless emails, comments in the YouTube videos at youtube.com/gamejunk. Bring back game or junk. And it has to be done. So we're going to list through the major, some not so major releases in order and say whether it's game or junk. And maybe talk about some of the ones that deserve it. Most of them do not. Most of these games don't deserve a word other than game or junk. Anything you guys need to talk about before we get into this list? How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Just ready to go. You're ready to...
Ready.
Can't wait.
I can't wait to delete the thousands of emails we've been getting asking for game or junk, and now I can do it.
Let's make some binary choices here based on this. Listen, we're starting...
Let's start with the binary domain, shall we say?
Junk. So I'm going to start from today's date on, and let's start off with a couple rapid cases. We're going to go right into a rapid round. The first game on the list that Sean provided, Moonscars.
Yeah, this is a Game Pass game.
This is a rapid round, Sean. Game or junk?
What do you guys know what these games are? I mean, that's
negative.
That's part of the game. That's part of the game. I'm looking them up here and there.
All right, Moonscars, I'm going to game that one. Looking forward to it.
I'm going to junk. I have no idea what it is.
I was going to junk, but I looked up a picture. I'm gaming. Looks pretty good. Number 27. The fact that Sean put them on the list is making me think they might be worth gaming. He's pretty, he's on top of this. Dome Keeper, is that right?
Yes, I don't really know what this one is. I'm going to junk it.
I like the name. Game.
I'm looking at images. I have to, I'm going to game everything, probably, especially on Steam. I buy it all at the very least, but for the sake of this list, junk. Not my thing. Next, Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero? What a title.
I also don't know what this is, even though it was on my list. It looks like it's coming to PlayStation.
I think this is a long-standing RPG series, yeah. I'm just going to jump in here. I'm gaming it.
This is a hot game all the way.
Yeah.
I'm junking it big time.
Definitely junking it.
All right. Next, Cobra Kai 2.
Can't believe there's a sequel.
Is this like a joke thing where there was no one and it's like a marketing?
No, there was a one. I haven't played it, but I have it. I own it on Steam. So
really? All right. Well, this is 100% a junk for me.
I'm gaming it.
I'm junking it too.
Did you play the first one, Sean?
Not yet.
It's on the list.
All right. Finally, a major release, which, to be perfectly honest, I didn't know it was coming out this soon until Sean sent me this email. October 3rd, or 4th, pardon me, Overwatch 2.
I could have some of these dates wrong, but I'm just double checking. Looks like October 4th.
That seems right to me. I saw. I'm junking it. I wanted to play the first Overwatch, never got into it. Don't feel like going on battle.net on PC. Not going down that road. It's a junk all the way, unless people are creaming over it when it comes out. Junksville.
Yeah, it's a junk. I'm curious why it's a sequel as opposed to just like a season. You know, why aren't they doing seasons for Overwatch? But
well, I mean, this was announced like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't really know what the differences are other than some new characters, I think.
Probably, yeah, new characters, new gameplay modes. Gotta double dip again, no?
Sure.
Of course. I actually thought this game was already out, so for that reason alone, I'm junking it.
All right, next. October 10th, 9 Years of Shadows. If you haven't heard of this game, it's all right. Don't feel bad. It's looks like a small indie game, action platformer, but I'm gaming. It looks awesome. I think maybe this was part of the Gamescom video or stream. It looks really good.
Yep, I'm looking forward to this. Definitely game for me.
Based on Frank's 1 second introduction of that to me, I'm gaming.
I mean, it does look a bit like a Castlevania Metroid game, Metroid-like, with some blasphemous vibes and a kind of interesting rainbow art aesthetic. This is actually shooting up my most anticipated list. I've been wanting to play some games like this, so looks good. October 11th, No More Heroes 3.
Yeah,
Switch.
I mean, it's a junk for me, but
it's coming to all platforms.
I'm always a little curious about this series. I don't know if I think I did play a bit of the first one, but
everyone played the first one on the Wii. It was, you had to at least try
Did
that.
they? Did everyone?
I definitely tried it and did not play it long.
This is a junk for me all the way.
This is junk.
it's a cult classic in the making.
You think so?
Always.
Sorry, Grasshopper. I want to like these games. It just never happens. I'm sure Sean feels the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
Next, Evil. Evil, that's it. I thought it was 2, but it's like a guillotine in the background. It looked like a Roman numeral 2.
It's a social deduction game.
So
It was a
Among Us type of game then, right?
I think so.
Social deduction, I would assume.
I think it was part of the Tokyo Game Show stuff, or I don't know. I saw it somewhere recently.
The one screenshot of gameplay looks like a bunch of people standing around a table with text over their heads. So I'm out. It's junk.
Yeah. I mean, these kind of games can be fun if you got a bunch of friends willing to play, but it's junk for me.
Junk all the way, yeah. Looked just like some sort of stand around a table game. Some little screenshots.
Next up, Sunday Gold.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at screenshots, I really don't know what this game is. It looks, at least art style, inspired by Disco Elysium, but I think it's actually is it an action game or a co-op game?
Point and click turn-based adventure game set in a grim dystopian future.
Art style is cool, as every game is these days, so it's tough to just give it a game on that. So, unfortunately, hearing the gameplay description, point and click, junk, turn-based, junk, adventure, junk, grim dystopian future, junk. It's all junk, baby.
It's a game for me. I was actually looking forward to this, and it was supposed to come out like last week, and I think it got delayed by a month. So maybe that's not the best sign, but I'm looking forward to it.
It looks kind of intriguing. I'll probably try it at some point, but for the sake of this list, junking it.
I'm also looking forward to it. I'm going to game this one, for sure.
Huck's gaming. Next, one Huck is gaming for sure. A Plague Tale Requiem, the sequel to
I'm gaming it.
A Plague Tale, looking pretty good, expanding on some of the mechanics. I did not play the original. Sean, did you ever play A Plague Tale?
No. And every time I see a trailer for this one, I'm like, I'm intrigued because it's not the game I thought the first one was. So I'm like, I'm kind of into it. I think it's Game Pass as well, which, I'll definitely be checking it out. But, yeah.
So if I search for A Plague Tale Requiem, the top story is A Plague Tale Requiem to last around 15 to 18 hours has, quote, no filler. Not a good sign. Am I the only one that reads that and is like, sounds like filler?
I mean, I don't know. It's
if it is like a 15-hour campaign, I'm right on the fence with Gamer Junk. I feel like I haven't played the original. Is it even worth gaming a sequel if you haven't played the original?
Yes.
My gut is no, but part of me wants to jump back and game the first one before I game this one.
How could you not? This is what you do, Frank. You play the one right before to ruin the second one for you. So you should just go back and play it as your normal cadence.
Okay, so we're going to, I guess, predictively game the first one, junk this one. That's how it's going to play out.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, next, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, which is an asymmetrical Ghostbusters game.
Too many of these games, but yet something about it is calling to me.
You're going to answer the call, bud. If there was ever a Sean game, this is it.
Well, I mean, I'll buy it so we can play it once for Film Junk Patreon content and probably never play it again. So, game.
Junk, for sure. I don't like these games at all.
I'm also on the fence for this, but the Proton Pack streams look pretty good. They look decent in the screenshots. So, I'm a mild game. The ghost designs are way less intriguing. Like, the ghosts are doing almost nothing for me. The models of the official Ghostbusters equipment look good. This is tough. You'd think the ghost designs would be the most inspired thing about this, and they are easily, like, just look up the game and look at some of the images of the ghosts, like the ectoplast, and like these do not look interesting at all. Like Slimer looks like a shitty version of Slimer.
Totally agree. Junk.
You know what though?
Why are we still talking about this junk? Let's go.
No, Huck. There's something here.
There's not. Oh my goodness.
But the Ghostbusters itself lends itself to asymmetrical gameplay and roles, like managing the streams, and someone has to do the trap, someone has to do different things.
I agree. Like, I think it's great for co-op. It's just the asymmetrical part where somebody else is playing the ghost or whatever that's not as exciting to me. But
yeah, I mean, do we know you can actually play as the ghost?
Pretty sure. I mean, I don't know if maybe you can play against an AI ghost with a team of friends.
Yeah, like
that's a possibility.
That could be good, but yeah, I'm gaming. I know
Ghostbusters is about comedy. It's not about busting ghosts. That's why that first game that was really good was good, because it had lots of jokes in it, and I laughed.
You're talking the Commodore 64 one?
No, I'm talking about the Xbox 360 one.
Yeah, but you laughed at the Baywatch movie, so
that was an amazing movie. Still. You guys are crazy.
Do we know the cost of this game? That's also, I hate to say it, but it is a factor.
It's a factor. I think it's like $49.
We are losing our game or junk cred by the second, gentlemen. Let's go.
There's only certain ones we go fast on. It's $50. Game. It's like a shitty Shout Factory 4K movie. It's in. It's about the same price.
Yep.
Has to be done. Next, October 19th, The Last Worker.
Just checked. It got delayed to 2023.
How? I will edit that out of the show. You don't get any recognition whatsoever. You're delayed. October 20th, Mario plus Rabbids. I noticed in the UB showcase, it's Mario plus Rabbids. Spark of Hope. I want to like these games, but no chance. Junk.
Gotta be honest. I'm probably not going to buy it. I'm probably not going to play it, so it's junk.
Game. I like the first one. Game in this one.
They are good games. If anything was going to get me into strategy, I think this is the thing, and I've gone back to it multiple times. Another deciding factor. I don't like to go down the value route, but Nintendo, because their prices on the Switch store never go down, the one exception with
The
Mario
Yugi
stuff,
games?
and it is this. This first game is
Yeah.
on sale all the time, so there is no chance I'm buying this at full price.
It's a good point. It'll be on sale Black Friday or something.
Exactly, and it'll be $20 in a year. So that's a
Yep.
junk, big time. That goes right in the junk pile. Next game we've talked about quite a bit, I think. Scorn, the kind of Giger-inspired artwork and grotesque first-person, I don't know, adventure action game, probably mostly an adventure game. I'm game all the way. I'm into this.
It's a game for me, big time.
I'm junking this. I can't put up with that scary environment. That's not for me. I can't believe
Too
you're not
scary.
junking it.
It's a little, it's a little too phallic, a little too sexual. I'm an innocent, not into that
right.
kind of stuff. So, but I have to say, at least it's an intriguing art style. Cheap, I think. I think it's a cheaper game. It is on Game Pass, correct? If I remember correctly, they've been
Yes.
talking about
Yes.
that for a long time. I have it wish listed on Steam because I'm a hardcore PC gamer now. I've not touched a console in 3 weeks, I think.
Whoa.
So, yeah, I'll pick it up.
First person biopunk survival horror adventure.
Junk.
Biopunk.
Junk. Biopunk? Oh,
Biopunk.
I am done.
That's an automatic junk.
Sorry, you just lost me with your bullshit.
How can you put punk and like Giger type psychological horror stuff in the same description?
Oh, 2.9D Biopunk out
There's a lot of punk genres.
Removing-
Salvage punk.
from my wish list right now. I guess it makes it. Steampunk's a thing. Biopunk should be a thing. All right, we're back into game. I'm flip flopping. Back in. The same day, though, a lot of competition. Gotham Knights. The release date got moved up. Finally, a new Batman game, not by Rocksteady, by WB Montreal, I believe. But I am gaming big time. I'm dying for a new Batman game, and as long as the co-op stuff isn't a complete disaster, my standard example for this is God of War Ascension, which is easily the worst God of War game because it tried to shoehorn in co-op mechanics that broke the enemy systems, made it like just enemies swarming you. It was really bad. Well, not really bad, but it was a huge letdown. So it's not a for sure game. Like, it's a game. I'm going to buy it 100%, but I have my doubts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a for sure game for me, but I also have a few doubts.
I'm doubting as well, but I'm going to game it as well. I
We
like.
have to game this, boys.
Have to game.
It has to happen. And I want to express
how many
one
player?
other doubt. One other doubt. I think it's up to 4 player, if I'm not mistaken. All the images have 4 people. So if it's not 4 player, like they show 4 heroes underneath Gotham Knights. At least that's what my memory is.
Looks like only 2 player.
Oh, forget it. Forget it.
Oh, junk.
Maybe I'm misremembering these marketing images.
No, like
Oh no,
there-
you're remembering it.
I mean, there's definitely 4 characters, and there seems to be a lot of confusion as to whether they ever promised 4-player co-op, but currently 2 player is what it's
Like
shipping.
everything I look for this game suggested visually to me that it's 4-player co-op.
Oh, big time.
Wow. Wow.
Wow, what does that mean?
This is a game changer. No, but I think, or maybe I'm projecting, is the Suicide Squad game 4-player? Because that's co-op as well, I think, isn't it?
I don't
That
know.
game's not coming out for years though.
Yeah, I don't. Okay. Anyway, I'm still gaming, but some misleading, I think intentionally misleading marketing materials there could
Big time.
be a potential controversy.
This sounds like something they intended and scaled back, but all the marketing was already out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it confirms Suicide Squad is 4-player as of right now, which could change.
I am not losing it. I'm not scrambled yet. I'm not perma scrambled yet. There's reasons for these thoughts. October 27th, Star Ocean, The Divine Force. Junk.
Yeah, junk for me.
Oh, I'm so torn on this one. I love a good sci-fi game, but the Star Ocean games, they just keep letting me down, so I'm junking this one as well.
I thought
Okay.
in one of the lists I saw, I don't know if it's missing, there was a pretty, maybe it got delayed. Sorry, I'm going to trust Sean's list, but there was a Square Enix third-person action game, Valkyrie something. Is that on this list? I thought that was.
Oh, Elysium. I think it's earlier. I think it comes out before
Yeah,
something.
it's
Is it
not
not
on
on here?
Sean had, so
Oh,
I'm going to
my
game it.
Goodness, disaster.
What is it
Jumping right
called?
to Valkyrie Elysium.
Valkyrie Elysium.
Yes.
Comes out soon. September 29th.
Okay,
Gaming.
Okay.
Game
Need
for
to
sure.
Insert that one, definitely.
I'm gaming it big time.
Follow up to Valkyrie Profile.
Yep, junk for me.
Did you guys junk Star Ocean?
Junk.
Yes.
We all junked that thing pretty good. Maybe this is a big series. I don't know much about it, but I looked at the images, and even the first images I see are like weak, like hella weak.
Star Ocean.
Yeah.
The first two games, the original two games, were really good, and it's been all downhill. Everyone I've played after those first two have been not good.
All right, coming up next, Signalis or Signalis. Looking at images of this game completely refreshed my memory. It has a very unique art style. I think partly inspired by Metal Gear Solid, maybe Kojima inspired in general. I'm getting some Snatcher, Police Knots vibes mixed with some corridor action. I'm gaming big time.
Yeah, it is a horror game, I believe. I think Del Toro introduced a trailer for it at some point, which in my head, I was like, is Del Toro involved in this game? I mean, beautiful marketing, how they did that. But he's not, as far as I know. But I'm going to game it. I think it looks pretty cool.
Oh, I'm gaming it.
Oh, everyone's
For sure.
gaming this thing.
Oh,
this,
yeah.
This feels like it has a lot of potential, and
Big
it
time.
is 100% Metal Gear Solid inspired. I'm seeing screenshots of the menus. The menus are basically like a menu version of the HUD up and down selection systems in Metal Gear Solid. This looks pretty cool. Pretty effing cool, dudes. Let's do it. Is it Signalis or
No idea.
Signalis?
Don't know.
Signalis sounds cool.
Signalis
sounds
sounds
cool.
cooler. I'd junk Signalis, but I would definitely game Signalis.
For sure. For sure.
All right, Sean, some shenanigans here. Let's be perfectly honest. This guy just has to get it in there. Physical media, October 27th, Sega Genesis Mini 2. I still have yet to buy the first one, Sega Genesis Mini 1, but I have to game this one. I have to play Sewer Shark for 10 minutes.
They are delivering Sewer Shark as you requested, so
I have to.
It is a great game. It is a great game.
unfortunately junk for me.
You're junking this? You forced this down our throats on this list?
I mean, you guys are more Genesis guys than I am. And it is one of those things where I'm like, maybe there's some Genesis games that I've never played that I should pick this up for, but probably not.
I think I got all these games on the Sega Genesis collection I bought for PS2 ages ago, so I think I'm good on this one. I'm going to junk it.
Not Sewer Shark,
That's
but
true.
maybe some of the
Not
others.
Sewer Shark.
Will
Definitely
we
not
see a Saturn version of this thing?
Are there even enough Saturn games to fill one of these things?
How dare you? I hope we get one day. I feel like there's emulation. It's actually hard to do for the Saturn. I know there's a few newer retro consoles that featured. What was the one Jay kept pushing?
Damn, I can't remember either.
Holly Mega?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
That had a Saturn emulator, I think. So I hope it happens. I think it would be a fun one. Next, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I buy every one of these because my friends play it, but I really don't have a strong desire. This and sports games, which Sean also kind of left off the list, like FIFA wasn't on here, which is okay, Sean.
NHL.
It's
huge.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
I don't know what's going on, but
I threw it together. What do you want, man?
it's all right. Sean, let me say thank you for putting the list together.
No problem.
It's just wrong.
I had forgotten about Gamer Junk, and the version I had to go on would not have been conducive to Gamer Junk, which people had been clamoring.
Clearly.
So I guess I have to say I'll probably get talked into gaming this by my friends.
Okay. It's junk for me, but one of these days maybe I'll jump back into Call of Duty. I don't know.
I'll probably game the first 1 to 2 hours of the campaign.
That's a library. That's the library game, right?
1,000%. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Library. What are you talking about? Every game is a library game, unless it's a Game Pass game.
Yeah, I feel like that's not the spirit of Gamer Junk.
Well, then just junk all mine.
Yeah, it's not right. It's not right. October 28th, Bayonetta 3. I don't know why. I feel like this game, it never happens with the Nintendo games. I have this feeling it's going to get delayed. I want to love Bayonetta. I played the first one and thought it was really good. I've never finished it. The fact that it's on Nintendo makes me less likely. There's this weird disassociation where I'm like, I can play Bayonetta on any console, but then I've got to switch controllers for Bayonetta 2, and it's $80. It just feels gross. Everything about it feels gross, even though I want to like it. So I'm going to junk it, but I have been wanting to go back to Bayonetta 1.
Yeah, I never played Bayonetta 2. Did play a bit of 1. Fun for the time. I guess I'm curious what they've updated in the last decade. And it is weird that it's still $80 to play Bayonetta 2 on the Switch or the Wii U.
I'm going to be junking this as well. I never got into Bayonetta at all. I know it's obviously popular if they're going to 3, but not for me.
Okay, next. I'm not sure what this next one is. It says Factorial. I don't know if it's Factorio coming to, like, out of early access or something. I'm doing searches for Factorial game, and
I don't know. I don't know how this ended up on my list.
I don't know how
Factorio.
FIFA and NHL don't make the list, and Factorial, a non-existent game, does.
It must be something that's like coming to Game Pass or something, and it's already been
This
out.
guy and his Game Pass. Is this just a Game Pass release list? Is that what I'm looking at?
There's a bit of that for sure. It's like stuff that from the last bunch of press conferences, I was already building a list. So,
Okay. So this is Sean's personal list that I'm educating.
Okay, so
Not
Factorio does come to Switch on the 28th.
Okay.
So that must be what this is.
Yes, it's Factorio, a junkin' 100%.
I don't even remember what it is. So I'm junking it.
It seems very popular, but I'm junking as well.
Yeah, if I'm going to Factorio, I will do it on PC, not on the Switch,
Definitely.
where its initial release date was 2016 and was reviewed for IGN in January of 2021. Yikes, Sean.
Wow. Wow.
That 2016 might have been early access, though. The game was in early access for a while.
I'm going speed round here. You guys ready?
Let's do it. Oh, yeah.
New Tales from the Borderlands. Junk.
Yeah, junk. And I just looked.
Junk.
The updated release date is the 21st of October
For which?
for New Tales from the Borderlands.
Okay, well, it's junk.
Yep.
Ghost Song. Junk.
Game.
Junk.
Sorry. Harvestella.
Junk.
Game.
Humankind. Junk.
Yeah, junk.
Junk as well.
This is a big time junk. Atari 50. No?
Junk. Big time.
Yeah, it's junk. Is it like I don't? Is it just the games as they are, or is there some kind of remix element to this? The Atari.
I don't know, it looks like it's got a nice presentation on Steam, but it looks like this Breakaway version of Breakaway looks like Shatter almost, like it's amped up visually. It's got Jaguar games on it. It looks like.
That's cool.
Looks like it's a journey through the history of Atari. Cool. Junk.
Yep.
Next, same day, A Little to the Left. Game.
Yeah, I'm junking this one.
Game for sure.
Also the same day, Skull and Bones. Swapping cannons and sails. Coming to a console near you. Junk.
Yeah, it's junk, unfortunately.
I'm junking this. If I wanted sailboats, I'd go play Black Flag from 15 years ago.
The world will junk this game. That one's going to be fun. I think it's going to be an interesting release.
Like the game's going to be fun, or it's just going to be fun to see
what happens.
Okay.
I mean, maybe there's a world where like people love it, but not looking good. Also the same day, Sonic Frontiers, divisive game.
Yep.
And I've got maybe 5 hours to play it before November 9th with Ragnarok, but I will game it for those 5 hours.
Game as well.
Junk.
I need to prove that the Knight's drawing mechanic is back in Sonic form. Finally, a day that will go down in history. November 9th. Also Chucky Day. Charles Lee Ray died November 9th, 1988. And God of War Ragnarok comes out. And it's a game. It's a big-time game.
You might say it's the only game on this list.
It might be the only game worth gaming in all the games we're going to talk about this year on Game Junk.
I'm going to junk it. Why not?
Yeah. Game.
Please.
November 11th, Tactics Ogre Reborn. Junk.
Junk.
Game. Big time game. Way better than God of War.
Someone had to check it out.
See, I think you're somewhat sincere, but in your heart, you want to play God of War way more.
Oh, I've of course played God of War.
Okay. This next one, I don't. Pentiment?
Dude, this is Microsoft's huge game.
Oh,
for
I
the
remember
holiday
this
season.
now. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. The card, is it Card Sharks?
Yeah, kind of that same art style.
It's a junk in a big way. I even compare with those two games comparatively. This art style wasn't doing much for me. There is potential though. I'm not going to say there's no potential, but as of right now, it's a junk.
It's a narrative adventure role-playing video game set in Bavaria in the 16th century. So I would say junk, but it could be one of those things that comes out, gets amazing reviews, and suddenly everybody's like, wait, I was always into this game.
I looked it up on Steam. Similar to games you've played. Card Shark. So
Okay.
the game listed. Huck, it's developed by Obsidian. That might be moving your needle a bit.
Why is that?
South Park RPGs.
Okay. Not
You know what? Just for that, I'm not gaming it, but I'm adding it to my wish list.
It's also free on Game Pass if you want.
I still buy them. I support the developers, bud.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'm a hero.
We need people like you.
If there's anything I'm sick, I never want to even address in a list again, or a game or junk it, it's Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator 3, junk.
Well, it's a weird one because I will probably be gaming it with the kids at some point, but for me personally, it's a junk.
This is right up there with Ark Survival Evolved, junk.
Yeah, I hate to be an authoritarian here, Sean, but you have to forbid your kids from playing Goat Simulator in all its forms. You need to junk it from their lives permanently.
You don't need to tell them it exists.
Anything with simulator at the end, they're interested.
Yeah, any other simulator I'd rather they play. This
Dude Simulator, I think that's the new one.
dude. November 22nd, Evil West. I looked this game up again recently. I saw an article about it. I'm a mild game. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I don't feel like I know that much about it, but yeah, I mean,
it's a Western horror game. I feel like it's real. It's in that zone. It's in the Biomutant zone, where it's like AA. Looks like it could be good, but there's some trickery with the trailers and how they get presented. It's a game you really won't know until it ships. It's good at hiding its flaws in its marketing. Potentially.
It does have co-op, which is kind of cool. But
So cool.
I'll say mild game.
I'm going to junk this one. Not interested.
He's junking. River City Girls 2. It says Japan here. We're talking about Japan.
Yeah, this is it doesn't have a U.S. release date, but there's speculation it's coming out the same day in the U.S. So that's why it's on the list.
This is more of a... I played the first game a bit. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I'm going to have to say junk because Sean is really just propagandizing this list. So you'll be right at home with the authoritarian removal of goats and
I have to game it because I'm pushing that agenda. So
yeah.
I like that agenda. I'm gaming it.
Next, hot game right now. A lot of talk about the Callisto Protocol, the spiritual successor to Dead Space. Appears everywhere. Everything Jeff Keighley related is pushing Callisto Protocol and hyping up those gruesome deaths. Regardless of my cynicism, it's a game all the way. I think it looks really good.
Yep, game for me.
I must say they should stop showing things, though, because the more they show, the less I want a game. So I would say right now it's a game, but it is slowly approaching joke.
It's at the very top potential border of the Biomutant zone. It's when the more they show, I start to see some of the flaws. Now, the stuff that's polished, it looks really good. But, I'm worried under scrutiny, this thing might fall apart. So I'm giving this game the benefit of the doubt where I don't for others, because I think in general it looks great, and I will game it. But I am anticipating disappointment.
Yep.
Next, Marvel's Midnight Suns. XCOM take on Marvel. I'm junking this game big time, and I hate the art style. I loathe the color palette, that like bright yellow. This game grosses me out visually. I have no interest in this. I don't like the character designs. Everything about it looks like yellow barf to me.
It's kind of a release day decision for me, but I'm going to say game. I'm interested.
I am definitely junking this one as well. I love XCOM. I love the idea of XCOM. I started seeing some screenshots just now of like a deck builder element, like using cards to do stuff, which I'm not a fan of. I don't know if that is actually what it's happening or if that's just their move set, but I need to see a lot more to convince me to game this one.
Am I the only one who thinks like visually this game is like a 10 years ago level? And I see zero criticism for the art style of this game.
Yeah, it's not great.
I feel like I haven't really seen that much gameplay, to be honest with you. Like most of the trailers and stuff were more cinematic.
Well, because they're marketing it on Marvel and they don't want people to know it's strategy before they buy it.
That's true.
Yikes. This one could be trouble. Junk, December 6th, Hello Neighbor 2. This is also... Is this Kieran's list or Sean's list? Is this a Christmas list for shopping? What are we looking at
Probably will be on the Christmas list.
This is junk.
Definitely junk.
Definitely junk. Big time junk.
I've never played the first one, but Sean, your son has played it a lot. That's why we're talking about it, right?
Yep, and it is on Game Pass, I believe. So may not require.
I also
a
never,
purchase.
speaking of your kids, I never played the Bug Snacks DLC. Was that game or junk? Post-mortem on that.
I haven't played that much of it either.
Huh.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Dragon Quest Treasures, junk.
Don't really remember what this is, but I'm going to say junk.
That,
Junk as well.
let your heart guide you on that one. December 13th. Ooh, High on Life from the creator of Rick and Morty. Looked pretty good at one point with the talking guns. The last gameplay demo at Gamescom was, in my opinion, an unmitigated disaster. So this is tough because I think it has potential, but I think I'm going to have to go junk. But don't be surprised if I buy it.
I will definitely be gaming it, but I agree there are potentially some issues there.
Yeah, it's a borderline game for me, I think. I'm kind of on the fence. That last, boss fight trailer they showed was not doing it for me.
Yeah, that was not good. Next, Atomic Heart. Gonna have to look this one up.
Yeah, so this one doesn't even have like a official release date yet. They just said December, which definitely feels like it could get delayed any day now.
There is no chance this game is coming out this year.
The Steam page now says this winter. So that's more like February.
Okay, yeah. We're shutting it down. I think we're shutting down. There's a few question marks on the list here. Those are also getting shut down.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I don't think any of those are coming out this year.
Possibly System Shock. It's the only one that
Yeah, I
still
agree.
says 2022, but it's weird. There's no date yet.
Let me do a quick. So while we're talking, while I do a scan of stuff we might have missed that isn't on Sean's radar, let's talk about in general. I know we've talked about this before. Not looking like a great year. Things pick up in the winter for sure, but pretty weak. Other than God, I'm for one am thankful. I need to catch up on Elden Ring and Horizon sequel, including probably playing through the first one again. So I'm all for this, but we were going to do a top 5. And I don't even think I can have 3 I can put on that list. Like, other than like padding it with indie stuff, which feels kind of awkward for a holiday game preview. You guys with me on this? Or are you fucking jacked for this year?
No, it's pretty slim pickings out there. I mean, it was already, I feel like, pretty weak, and then like a bunch of games got delayed. So, there will be some indie stuff that pops up that, maybe isn't even on our radar yet. But for big AAA stuff, there's not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you'd even think there'd be a little bit more, even just like outside of the like Call of Duty release window where things usually tend to launch now, but there's really nothing, which is very odd. I'm really quite surprised. It's almost like Callisto Protocol has December and God of War has November and Call of Duty has October, and like that's it.
Pretty much, yeah. Gotham Knights as well, but
Definitely some major omissions here. I'm just checking the... People are going to lose it if we don't talk about them. Okay?
Whoa.
is there a Battlefield game I didn't know about?
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Oh,
New Pokemon games coming out in November
Game.
18th.
game.
2 games that people are going to buy en masse that Sean omitted.
Yeah.
I don't give a rat's ass, but Sean, will your kid want to play this? Are you gaming it?
No, that's junk.
Pokemon has been just evading 2 Switches in my household lately, and this one will be no exception, I'm sure.
Okay, another kind of big one, I think. Warhammer 40,000 Darktide, which is like a different Warhammer of the, like a different era or universe of the Vermintide series, the Left 4 Dead inspired gameplay. Looks pretty good. I've played some Vermintide. We should play it at some point and give it a shot co-op, but I'm probably going to junk this for now.
If it wasn't on my list, it's definitely junk.
But maybe this is the one to get in on at ground zero and like.
Yeah, I'd actually, I mean, from what I've seen of some of those games, I'm kind of interested.
You know, I'm gaming it, dude.
I'm going to have to junk it. The Warhammer franchise is just so dense, so hard to get into. There's no way I could devote any time to figuring this game out.
Okay, and last, Huck, this is for you and I. Sean tried to omit this big one. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, December 13th.
Ooh, December 13th.
Goodness, Sean. What?
Which I think is taking I think it's mostly the same play style of the remake and applying it to Crisis Core, which I never played. I'm gaming, as long as it's the same gameplay as the remake, I'm gaming this big time.
Oh, it's a game. It's 1,000% game. I can't believe this wasn't on the list. Disaster.
Definitely junk, but should have been on the list.
That's all right. Don't worry about it, bud. We got Skull and Bones on there. That's all that matters.
What about Warzone 2? Is that even a thing? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty. Like, they're a different map or version of Warzone.
But it's like a whole new game?
I don't know. Junk.
Yep.
There's it looks like there's another one of those Dark Pictures anthology.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too.
Coming out December 18th. Probably a junk for me.
Oh, that's 100% junk for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nakara Blade Point.
That's been out on other platforms. I think it's coming to some other ones.
It says Xbox One on the list I'm looking at, so obviously it's kind of
it's on the Epic Store
downport
in Steam already. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. I think we've covered it all.
Yeah, I mean, let us know if there's any important ones we missed, or even little small under the radar ones we missed.
Yeah, get in the chat. Maybe we'll reply with a game or junk in the chats. That's easy. That's easy to do.
Yep.
Did I say in the chats? In the comments on youtube.com/GameJunk. All right, moving on. What have we been playing? Who wants to go first?
I could kick it off since we were talking Pokemon. I tried to play Temtem, which is like a MMO Pokemon style game, but I couldn't because when I logged into the game, it says put in your name. I said, okay, I'll put in Andy. Nope, that name's already taken. Okay, I'll put in Andrew. Already taken. I'll put in Huck. Already taken. I'll put in every other fucking name I can think of. Already taken. I'll put in, Andrew 26843.
My Angry Commute? Did you try My Angry Commute?
No, I didn't. But you're only allowed 15 letters. So, anyways, you're not allowed to use number signs. You're not allowed to use symbols or letters. Symbols or numbers. You can only use letters. And like the capitalization doesn't matter. So I tried like 5 or 6 things, and I'm like, I'm not going to play this game. If you're going to have like a naming convention that's unique to everyone in the entire world, at least suggest some ones that are somewhat similar and available. I don't want to play this game of me trying 100,000 different name combinations to get into your game.
Most games will recommend the name for you, but
I was like, no, I'm not playing this game. Like, I'm just glad I didn't pay $60. I'm not going to spend, an hour trying to figure out a name that works on your server. Like, no, thank you. Give me a suggestion. So, anyways, I was super pissed off at Temtem. And that baby went right back to the library.
I was going to say, what were you playing it for?
Series X.
Oh, okay. All right. Because it's like $60 or something. I thought when it first came out, I thought it was kind of like the idea was going to be a free-to-play Pokemon thing. Like,
yeah.
What's that? Genshin Impact. I thought it was going to be a take up like that for Pokemon, and surprised that it actually cost money.
Yeah. So that was fun. Anyways,
hadn't heard of that one. Well, I kind of want to talk Steam Deck, but now Frank has one on the way, so I don't know how much I want to get into it. Okay.
The day I get my confirmation, the day after I actually pay with PayPal for my Steam Deck, it's available. A tweet goes out from Steam about, in Canada only, anyone who had pre-orders, there's a shipping backlog only in Canada, and it's going to be weeks until you get it, which I think Sean felt a bit of the impact of with his, but it seems like on Reddit, people are saying that they've been waiting 3 weeks already for theirs, so I don't know when I'm going to get this thing. If I could bet on an app or Vegas that they're going to announce a new Steam Deck before mine ships, I would.
Yeah, that's probably likely. It was like a week and a half before mine shipped after I paid. So not too bad, but longer than I think what had been happening up till that point. I'll just give a few quick sort of impressions. Like it's big, it's heavy. Battery life isn't amazing. I mean, if you've read anything, you probably know that. So it's like one of those things where I'm like, what's the use case for this thing? And like, for me, it's great because it's like, I now have, situations where sometimes the kids have friends over and they're like playing games on like Xbox and Switch, like they're playing Fortnite together on both systems, and then somebody's playing PlayStation, and I'm like, all the consoles are in use. How do I play a game? So now, that's an option. But, just being able to, I've never, as much as I do play stuff on PC from time to time, I just like sitting on a couch, and that's not really possible with my current setup. So this allows me to do that. If you were thinking about like going on a trip with this thing or like commuting with it, it's not quite the best for that. And then I guess the other thing is like, it's definitely more for hackers and tinkerers. There's a reason why this thing isn't being sold in Best Buy currently, I think. Not just supply chain issues, but also because it's still, I mean, I don't know, maybe at some point they will get to that point, but like it's very much, even if you're not doing any of the, it's basically a computer and you can go into desktop mode and bring up a Linux command prompt and do things. If you want to do stuff like play epic games on it, good old games on it.
Sorry, it does that out of the box, or you...
It does have that out of the box. Like you can go into your Steam menu, go to desktop mode, and it's basically like a Linux desktop.
Okay.
But, that I assume that kind of stuff would scare off a lot of people. But obviously the people who are buying it currently know that, they're into that, they want to hack it, tweak it, play with performance settings and stuff.
To be honest, I didn't know that, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about that already, but the thing that surprised me is like, even if you don't touch any of that stuff, just focusing on your Steam library, even that's a little bit finicky. Like they have this whole thing of like Steam Deck verified, so they'll say if a game runs on Steam Deck and has been verified for it. But like, it's kind of a crapshoot. Like I even just returned to Monkey Island. Steam Deck verified. I had issues playing it this week. I had to change which version of Proton I was using a few different times till I found one that worked. So that was a bit surprising. Some games I've had say they don't work on Steam Deck, and then you download them and try them and they do work. So you never know.
What have I done?
Am I scaring you yet, Frank?
Yes.
But
that's why I never played PC games.
Yeah, I mean, it is all those things. But there's
the original hardcore PC people that wanted the game to be figuring out how to play your game. It's creating that experience in portable form.
Pretty much. But
tweaking your virtual memory for PGA 486 and having to get your friend's dad to come over and figure out.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I do think if you just stick to your Steam library. For the most part, you're fine. And it is quite nice to have that, accessible, very big, bright screen. Controls I really like the feel of. They have like 2 touch pads on either side that you can use for mouse type stuff if you need to. Back buttons are cool. Lots of options, and it's very easy to customize controls for every game just from within the Steam UI. So that's cool. What else? Sleep mode works great. You're in the middle of a game. You just turn off the system, put it in suspend. When you come back, you're in the middle of the game right where you left off. So that's really cool. HDMI out works. I've been using it occasionally as like a console hooked up to my TV with a Bluetooth controller. No issues. You just got to
like 4K or HDR.
I don't. That's a good question. I never really checked what the actual output is there. I feel like it was probably 1080p, but you may be able to change that. But you also do need a adapter that has both so USB-C to HDMI with an additional USB-C if you want to charge at the same time, because otherwise, you're getting like 2 hours of play out of it probably. So it's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the other disappointment, I mean, talking about like the hacking and stuff like that, like I have been able to play games from Epic Game Store, some other things, but the one thing I was kind of disappointed in, Game Pass, PC Game Pass games do not work because Microsoft has, like, they're not standard executables. They're like some other like copy protection type thing.
Stuff, yeah.
So, so they don't work, even though like Steam Deck is Linux. They obviously have like Proton is their Windows emulator that runs most Windows games, but those won't work. So you can get xCloud working on there, but not.
Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you could do that
what
anywhere.
A joke.
But yeah, and then the other thing is I played Aperture Desk Job. I was kind of excited to try that. It's kind of like the Valve little demo game for it. I was kind of disappointed. There's not much to it. It's very short. It's a lot of just watching, not a ton of actual gameplay, but you're just kind of in this factory and control. Really, there's like just on the rails shooting sections. That's mostly all it is. So kind of disappointed with that. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. And maybe we'll talk more when Frank gets his.
Mm-hmm. If I get mine. That reminded me about the Aperture Desk Job or whatever, the Portal RTX version coming out, and then a bunch of NVIDIA stuff. We're not going to go too far down that road, but there was a Morrowind like modding tool that I posted on the Discord. If people are interested, there's some activity in the Discord, which you can find the link on YouTube.
And I don't think that was just Morrowind. I think that was like
you can use it for yeah. Like they showcase this tool with Morrowind, but I mean, as
basically
that
upgrade
gets better, like Valve's doing an official upgrade for Portal that's free, where it's really improving the graphics on older games, and that making me feel better about some of my PC choices lately. And like that, there are old games that if they were upgraded visually, I'd like to return to. So I don't know, that's some really interesting tech, and it's going to automate a lot of modding, and I'm kind of pumped just to play Portal again.
Yeah, basically ups texture resolutions and materials so that the lighting looks better, which is pretty cool.
Well, it also
just
like
go in and pull that.
It lets you take any scene and turn it into what's the word I'm looking for? Intermediate scene. Manipulate it and then upload it back into the game, and it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Just kind of on that topic, have you guys been like hearing or seeing anything about like the price of video cards overall? Like, I know they just announced
yeah,
those
big
new
time.
ones, but there was a big crypto crash that happened, right? Like, I think people are getting out of it. So I think a lot of the people who are buying video cards for Bitcoin mining and stuff are done. And
I'm not
some of
sure.
them
The
are
video
selling their
card
cards.
prices have been dropping a lot.
Yeah.
At least I got a year out of mine before the prices dropped. So it's not a worst case scenario, but mine is so much cheaper now, like ridiculously cheaper. I
What
could
do you
have
have,
got like a 30. I could have got a
3080?
3090 for the same price as my 3080. Actually, way cheaper. So, fuck, what a waste. What a life. The only thing I've been playing is Hades, and I am finally addicted to Hades. The one more run is as strong as it's ever been. I one more runned it, and each run now, I'm in the end game, is about a half an hour, I'd say. I one more runned it from 1:30 till 6 in the morning the other night.
Oh boy.
Like, I gotta try one more thing. I gotta try and get this. Like, I cannot stop. And the way it incentivizes repeat runs once you've beaten the game is exceptional. You know, it gives me a bit of Returnal vibes in that they both have this, like, to me, a pretty big barrier to entry. It takes too many hours to quote unquote get the game and the loop and feel powerful enough that a run isn't a waste of time. But once you get there, and in general, I've talked about this with Returnal, I'm really divided on games like this because they're so good once you get into them, but these there has to be a way to make that first 20 hours like more fun and feel better as a player. Like, as a designer, what are you designing for? The people who are going to play it forever or general audiences? These are difficult decisions, and it's hard to not penalize games or at least consider it when saying, is this game actually that good? But once you get there, I get it. I get all the hype. I love the combat. I love the variety. Visually, I love it. And I'm probably going to try and push for 100%ing it, getting everything there is in the game, and could be a long road, but it's kind of where I was at with Returnal, where I just want to keep doing stuff. And they add a system, it's called a heat system, where you can, like, again, encouraging player choice in how you want to modify difficulty and how much to modify difficulty once you're really powerful. And that's where it's like, okay, I can tweak this, still getting rewards, still progressing things. It just, again, feeds into that one more run. Let's do it again. Let's try this time. Let's try something different. And it is awesome.
So is it spoilers to say what the tweak is once you beat the game?
Oh, it's just like there's like 20 parameters that you can.
Oh, it's that heat system?
Yeah, the heat system that changes and allows you to get more valuable economies, where once you get it once, you can't get it again in the regular runs. Now there's like a purpose to increasing the difficulty and hiding or unlocking all the relationships and side stories and epilogues in the game. And it's really fun. I get it. I love Hades.
And so you said 20 hours is about the mark where you felt like it clicked for you, or
20, and I mean that's after giving it 3 shots. Like, I played it on Switch briefly when it came out. A bit. I played on PlayStation when it finally got released there. I played it a bit more on Switch over the summer at the cottage. So it's probably longer than that for me. That's more of a difficulty thing, I think, in general, and more of a progression before you get good, as people say, at this game. So there are lower difficulty modes, but I've not gone there. We'll never go there. Unless I'm desperate for an achievement.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know.
I might.
Like, I would say Hades is the rogue-like game that I've gotten into the most, but I still didn't come, like, I think I only got past the first 2 bosses, and then that was it. I was like, okay, that's good enough. Like,
I think the powering up and the initial economy of darkness should have been ramped up more. Like, let me unlock all the things in the mirror and get to the good part of the game. If I had one major suggestion, just ramp up that darkness to start.
I have been playing two similar games. I got Live Alive out of the library, which is kind of like Octopath Traveler, but the difference is that so I never really got past one storyline, unfortunately, but they have like a bunch of different storylines at different eras. So I started with the one that is in like the prehistoric era. It was pretty fun, has the same sort of mechanics as Octopath Traveler, which I really like. That sort of bravely default thing of charging up your extra moves and using them strategically, which I do really like. And but
it seems like it's influenced by Chrono Trigger to some degree. Am I? Maybe the time stuff. Maybe that's
probably that's why. Just because of the prehistoric age thing. Now, I never really got past that to know how they relate. Unfortunately, I had to take it back to the library, but I was enjoying what I was playing. So then, because I had that itch, I've dove back into Octopath Traveler, and I've been playing that quite a bit. And that game I'm actually enjoying a lot more this time around in it. I don't know if it's because of who I started with, and the path I've taken has been a little easier that way. I started with the healer character, which made it a little easier in the early game. I found before when I've tried this game, I've tried with two different characters, and I found it pretty difficult, and I think it was because I picked more like tanky or like fighter classes that I had to use a lot of items to stay alive with, whereas with the healer, I had more options. So I'm really enjoying it. I think I've got four of the 8 characters. I'm on my way to get the 5th, and they really do a good job of sort of like just guiding you through the map in a natural way to get everyone. I still don't totally know, like it's kind of still in the introduction stages of telling me who all the characters are. I don't really know how they're gonna like interlink to like a common story. Even if they are, it seems like they're just kind of like random people in a group going about their own separate storylines, and you just happen to be like bringing along the other guys as you progress your own personal story for each character, which is a little strange. There's no sort of like overarching story yet. But I still just like love the gameplay. I love the bosses in particular. Every boss fight takes a long time, and you have to be really strategic as you're fighting them. And they're very powerful, and you have to heal at the right times and be very mindful. Defend is also a very useful skill in this game that a lot of games just kind of like gloss over. Oh yeah, like defend, and you'll take a little bit less damage. But in this one, you almost need to use it to defend against some of the enemies, like bigger scale attacks, especially the bosses, which I really like. I really appreciate like using that level of strategy to protect yourself, kind of thing. So yeah, 2 games really been enjoying, and I will definitely return to Live Alive once my turn comes back around at the library.
I assume Live Alive is gonna get released on other platforms at some point.
I would think so. I think it took like a year, though, for Octopath Traveler to come around, so it might not be for a while.
Yeah, that's what I would expect.
So I'll talk briefly about Return to Monkey Island. Actually, before I do that, I just remembered one thing I wanted to mention about the Steam Deck that I want to put out to the listeners, because I don't know if this is my system or if this is a common issue. But one thing that really bugged me, if you go to the desktop mode and you're trying to type into the command prompt, you can use, there's like an on-screen keyboard, which is obviously a little bit clunky to begin with. But I had major issues where I would hit a letter and it would give me the haptic feedback like I actually hit that letter, but there was like a 50-50 chance the letter wouldn't actually show up on screen. So I'm like trying to type, and then you look and like it's half the letters are missing. You're like, what the fuck? So it was really frustrating. If you actually use the D-pad to move around the keyboard and do it that way, that works fine. But I don't know. I read some stuff online. It seems like some people had the issue, but I don't know how common it is. So let me know if that happens for you. Return to Monkey Island. I won't talk too much about it because I haven't got that far in the game. I actually went back and tried to play Monkey Island 2, which I had never beat. And I got pretty far, but then I was just like, man, I'm like, at some point I was just using a guide basically. And it was good because it reminded me how hard some of these games were in terms of like puzzles that you would never figure out. You know what I mean? Like back in the day
when I replayed Full Throttle and all that, I'm like, there's no...
Those point and click adventure games, like it was all about like you get stuck, you'd be stuck on a game for months, and then some friend would tell you, oh, you don't know that this is what you do, and then you'd be like, oh, okay. And that's the only way you would ever progress in these games. So I think the new one has a better hint system. I haven't like fully gotten far enough to see that yet, but I love the presentation of the new one. I know there was like a big debate about people wanted the old pixel art style, but I think it looks great. And it's interesting because it actually, I mean, maybe there is a point and click option, but it's not actually point and click. So you're using like your analog stick to move around, and as you get close to things, they get highlighted, and you can use the right thumbstick to kind of cycle between items or things that are around you that you can interact with. And I actually thought that was seems like a simple thing, but I don't know, just not having to click on something and then wait for your character to walk. Like I feel like that's something with those old games that you're not engaged because you're just waiting half the time for stuff to happen. So at least, moving around yourself, you feel a little more active. And yeah, obviously the voice acting, the humor, all that stuff feels like spot on. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
The reviews are really good for that game. It actually has me intrigued. I almost bought it the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely nostalgia, I'm sure, in a lot of those reviews, but yeah, I would say like visually and some of the just surface level stuff was a lot better than I was expecting. So
is it Double Fine?
No. I don't know. Like, I think it's
Ron Gilbert's company.
Yeah, but it's weird because I swear he's had like 3 or 4 different companies that he's run. So I don't know. I don't know which one this one is.
Because the bump for these games for reviews is out of control.
For Double Fine specifically?
Yeah.
Or?
And Ron Gilbert stuff, like the nostalgia and...
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely an element of that.
Just see Psychonauts 2 and listen to it get roasted on this podcast.
Yeah, but I don't remember Thimbleweed Park getting such great reviews. I mean, they were pretty good. And then he also did a game called The Cave, like way before that. And that got pretty like mediocre reviews, I think.
Well, that's why I asked. Double Fine is, there's even a little more, there's a bigger bump for Double Fine.
Yeah.
I am kind of wanting to go back and play Costume Quest 1 and 2 this Halloween.
Oh, yeah. I showed those to the kids last Halloween, and they were loving them. Speaking of adventure games, I could jump in. I played an adventure game called The Captain, which was free on Epic Store, I think last month or something like that. And it's basically like as if you're a starship captain, almost like a Star Trek type thing. Except
is this like a new Space Quest?
Oh, this kinda looks like a Sean game all the way.
Oh, totally. Did you not get this game when it was?
I did get it. I didn't look at what it was.
Oh. Yeah, it's basically like Monkey Island.
It's a point and click adventure game.
Yeah,
cool.
And it's so I was really enjoying it. I thought the like opening half an hour or whatever I played was well done. And yeah, I'm gonna keep playing it. I played for half an hour. I was enjoying what I was playing. I thought they really like kind of like introduced the world in a good pace of way. Like sometimes they could kind of drag on with all the blabbering, but this one was actually pretty quick and to the point. You kind of figure out what's going on quickly. You get right into gameplay. The puzzles were pretty straightforward. So it was kind of neat to see that, and I was kind of intrigued by, just the like Star Trekkiness of it, and I was really enjoying it. So I'm gonna. This
is published by Tomorrow Corporation that did Little Inferno.
Oh,
Human
nice.
Resource Machine. Like it's
Yeah.
published World. I guess they did publish World of Goo as well, but
Yeah, so I don't know. I was surprised. It's like free on Epic, or was free on Epic, and I've seen no one talking about it at all. Especially with like, all the Return from Monkey Island or Return to Monkey Island like press that's going on. I'm surprised this game flew completely under the radar to all those people that are currently reviewing Monkey Island. But I don't know how press works anymore.
this looks like it could have been Sean's Game of the Year last year.
Last year?
Yeah, it came out December 3rd, 2020.
Oh, come on, man. I needed something for this year. Well, speaking of stuff like this that's going under the radar, we should mention, because, Jay is a big fan of the Space Quest series, and he's always asking, how can I play Space Quest on Mac, which apparently there's no easy way to legally do it anyway. But some of the guys who did Space Quest just came out with Space Venture, which is their kind of like spiritual successor, and it was like a Kickstarter or something. Apparently, the reviews are not so great.
Uh-oh.
I don't think you can buy it yet, so I think it's only for backers, but apparently it's kind of buggy and...
it doesn't even have a Steam page yet.
Yeah, but I hadn't really heard anything about it for years, and then Jay mentioned it this week, so...
Well, tell him to check out The Captain.
Okay, will do.
Although, I don't know if it has Mac support. Let's see.
It does.
Where does it say that? It does. Interesting. Oh, yeah, Mac OS. There we go.
That also reminds me of the Kickstarter stuff. Just your annual, semi-annual reminder, Little Devil Inside, still not released.
Come on. Yeah, that was supposed to come out this year, right?
Yep.
Star Citizen, also still not released.
Wow. Yeah.
Could
You
be
can
up
play
there.
it. You can play it at least.
True. Yes, I
It's been
can.
playable
I can
for a long time. I funded this thing 8 years ago, and I still haven't played it for a second.
Still says Q4 2022. So,
Right on target.
yep.
All right. I think
We
that's
didn't
it for
include
today?
that in our game or not.
No, it's not.
Game or chunk.
No chance.
I just want to say I quickly fired up Last of Us Part 1 on the PS5, and it looks amazing. Plays amazing. Everyone should play this game. It's so good. And yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
I bought it, still have yet to fire it up, and it's embarrassing. But Hades awaits. It might be awaiting me in 3 minutes. We'll see what happens. So thanks for listening. Let us know what games we missed. What's Game or Junk? YouTube.com/Game Junk. Next week, is there anything going on? That Valkyrie Elysium is going to be huge. We'll be playing that. I don't know. I'll be playing Hades more. I'm pretty sure about that. That's about it. I guess Overwatch 2 will not be out yet. And yeah, check us out. Film Junk on Twitter. Mindgrid Commute. Equilibrium Sys for Huck. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.